for some cash radio program on this beautiful, what is it today? It's Friday, January 8th, 2016.
Still reasonably warm considering 40-something degrees, I think, outside.
Even though
WildCard weekend.
I got a cold and I'm freezing my ass off.
And I mean real WildCard weekend, not baseball WildCard weekend. WildCard weekend.
WildCard weekend, NFL. And we got a lot to get to. Usually every year what we do is we go to sidelines in Salem. You guys have seen in my post before. We used to go there. Chris was like boycotting it after a bad service.
45 minutes, no wings.
Okay, so which we won't get. You got your wings. I didn't. So there was that. And plus, they closed, and I don't even know if they reopened yet. Plus, like, I'm sick, having migraines. Chris is having a kid, like, probably in the next, 72 hours. Our other friend works Saturdays now, so, shit hit the fan. So we're not going to be doing that this year. But I'm still going to watch the games, even though the game isn't as good as we've been down that road before. I think we should start with you have a bone to pick with one William Steven Belichick.
No, I don't have a bone to
you
pick
have
with
bones,
Belichick.
plural.
I am thoroughly, absurdly pissed off at Bill Belichick.
I'm just going to sit back like this.
I have almost... Listen, I'm not serious here. This is just me ranting. I'm delusional. I'm idiotic. I'm crazy right now. I have almost never, ever, ever felt this way. But I wanted Belichick fired after that last game. Straight fired. And I was saying that, granted, I was being, a lunatic. But I'm not pleased with Belichick for the past half a year. Basically, this is what Belichick has done. Coached a great first half of the year, shitty second half. He reminds me of Peyton Manning last year as a quarterback. Coach form. Peyton was awesome, suddenly he sucked. That's been Belichick. You could pin all four of the losses, Denver, Philly, the Jets, and Miami, all on Belichick. Now, I shouldn't say all, but squarely on Belichick as poor coaching. I don't know if Belichick's ever had a streak this bad. I don't remember him, maybe in Cleveland, but not as a Patriot coach. Even in the 5-11 first season, I felt like he coached better than this. He's making mistakes with clock management, mistakes with should he be conservative or should he be completely ridiculously arrogant and foolhardy? Tom Brady's going to get killed. Just tell you that right now. You don't go into a game, run the ball 75 times in a row, then suddenly stop passing like crazy when the line knows that's what you're going to do, and Ndamukong Suh is going to eat your quarterback. Okay, there's a lot to pick on Belichick for.
If you were gonna run basically the entire first half, why not just start Garoppolo?
Or you want to keep Brady's streak of starting? Have him play a series like it's a preseason game and get him the hell out of there.
What, like Lou Gehrig? Lou Gehrig used to play the first inning and then come over.
Well, the thing is, it really aggravates me because they didn't want to win that game. I've had many people tell me, I don't think they wanted to win that game. I don't know if they played to win. I don't think they did. I feel like they almost wanted to see what Pittsburgh and the Jets were doing, and then they were going to decide what they were going to do at the end. That's pretty idiotic. And if you're not going to play Edelman, and personally, I know he's questionable for the divisional series. I think Edelman could have played if you really needed the game. If you're not going to play Edelman, and you're not really going to use Gronk that often, don't play Brady.
He would have played if it were a playoff game, I believe. Getting to your point, you make a lot of good points. I agree and disagree with you at the same time. The drop kick, punt, onside kick, whatever the hell that was.
I'm Bill Belichick, I'm smarter than you. Man, watch this.
We're up 2 scores, and even though my line is decimated, I don't have Gronkowski, I don't have Amendola. No, Amendola played that night. I don't have Edelman. I'm just going to F around and try this because it might come up in a game. Plus, I'd like to see, my dad was on the 1941 Detroit Lions. I might want to, get in the record books, because, and Bill loves the history of the game, so I get it. He did that with Flutie 10 years ago.
Do that up 28-0,
exactly.
Not 14.
Exactly.
You changed the entire complexion of the game. Yeah. That one play didn't lose them the game. You can never technically lose a play or you lose or win a game on one play. That's not how it works. I get that.
That was the catalyst.
That was the catalyst to make Philly pissed, to get Philly start playing. Philly went on a tear that drive and scored. They weren't doing anything all game. Actually, they could have kicked them deep, stopped them, and then scored again, and you would have won the game.
You know what? The defense, actually, that game wasn't horrible. That was the apocalypse for special teams.
That was the regular season version, almost similar, of the 2005 playoff game against Denver, where Vinatieri missed a field goal. Troy Brown fumbled.
Yep.
A punt never happens. Neither one of those things happened in the playoffs, by the way. And Tom Brady throws a near pick 6, which, by the way, should have been a touchback to Champ Bailey. Ben Watson. Great player, by the way. He's actually, I think Ben Watson's on HGH with Peyton. Something's going on there. 36-year-old, suddenly the best tight end he's ever been. But that was just a really weird game. And the Patriots have one of those games a year. Maybe 2. Like the Cleveland game, what was that, 2010?
Peyton Hillis game?
Yeah, Peyton
Rob
Hillis.
Bryant, yeah.
We had stuff with kickoffs in that game, too, I remember. You have like 1 or 2 of those games. The Miami game in 2004. They should have been 15.
Oh, they're up 11.
I fall asleep, they're up 11. I wake up, they lose. Brady tried to throw a couple passes from his butt. Like, he did it a couple times early in the season. It's like, oh, look at me. I'm Tom Brady. I can throw from my ass. Yeah, suddenly it gets picked off. That's what happens, bro.
And Troy got beat by a tight end for the game-winning touchdown, which you don't want to get on Troy because he wasn't.
By the way, no, Troy Brown was actually a decent nickelback. And I thought Edelman was turning into a decent nickelback, too.
Oh, he was. The 11 defense was so bad, especially the secondary. Like, you had Sterling Moore and Julian Edelman were like they finished the game at corner.
It is weird, though. A lot of those players from the 2009, 10, 11 Patriots, defensive backs, that were so terrible,
Darius Butler,
they're still all over the league. James Sanders was playing for a bit. Sergio Brown was. People getting thrown out the club by Gronk. But if you notice, a lot of the old Hedabo was playing in other places. Like a lot of guys that
won a Super Bowl.
Arrington is still playing. Kyle Arrington. A lot of guys that were playing in the defense that sucked. They're actually not that bad.
We got off track a little bit, but that's what we do. Just getting back to, I can understand why Bill is doing some of the things he's doing. I don't think he'd be coaching the way he has. He's trying to be cautious because he doesn't have a full stock of personnel. He was just trying to get by without suffering any more injuries. You get that. That's understandable. That's what good coaches do. Having said that, they still got to buy at 12-4, even with being decimated. However,
no excuse to me.
However, let me finish. One thing I will say, you are correct in that he strangely is alternating between being super aggressive and super conservative.
It's like he's scared and arrogant. Yes. It's very weird. It's the most. I've never seen someone have a mixed message like this. He's literally been a combination of, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, Wade Phillips, and Grady Little at times. I feel like he's Grady Little the whole second half of the season. Like, I'm just going to sit here now and watch Pedro throw a bunch of home runs. Like, I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Get him out. It's just not. I'm perplexed. I don't know. You can't lose it that quick, I don't think. And I still think he's probably the best coach in the league. But there's literally been times where I'm like, all right, build the GM, fire Bill the coach, and bring in someone else. Chip Kelly. Hey, him and Tom Brady, see what they can do on offense.
You might get your wish because there was
Brady can run now, so let him run the option.
There was actually a rumor. I don't know if it had any substance to it. Probably not. That with by the way, Coughlin out in New York. You guys probably already knew that. That position's open now.
He's not going back to that. Was conjecture by.
We know about his affinity for the Giants organization, even though
that would be like me and you saying, well, it would be great if the Detroit Lions traded Calvin Johnson to the Patriots and he took a giant pay cut and we sent him a 4th rounder. Wouldn't that be so perfect? That's what Boomer did with Bill Belichick going to the Giants. And people were like, it's Boomer Esiason, and maybe this is true. No, it's not true. Bill's staying here at least till Brady leaves. You might stay after Brady to try to prove something, but Bill ain't leaving. You don't leave the greatest quarterback ever.
I still think that he, like in the next few years, he wants to try to win one with Garoppolo to prove that it's more so him than Brady. I think that's part of the reason that they drafted him. Yeah, O'Keefe just sneezed.
On top of that, I did hear that Mike McCarthy, if they lose, which we're gonna get into this in a minute, though, we're gonna. This is a playoffs in football.
They're not gonna can him.
I've heard they might can him. And if they can him, think about the people that would be lining up to coach Aaron Rodgers. And McCarthy might be the second best coach in the league right now. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, he's up
there. Him, Pete Carroll, Tom. Who else?
I'm a Coughlin guy. I mean, I
don't think Coughlin was that great. I think Coughlin was a mixture between I'm awesome at coaching against Belichick for some reason, and the other time I'm like Wade Phillips and I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to sit over here.
A lot of that's personnel.
Okay, so if you can only coach good personnel, how good of a coach are you?
All right. Because
if you give me Michael Jordan, I'm going to win a championship. I can guarantee. Maybe not Michael Jordan now. Actually, even Michael Jordan now, probably. But
Michael Jordan now would
in
be
the East would be in the finals.
They were actually, this was on, I believe, Felger and Maz a couple months ago. Over the last 15 years, Would you rather have the combination of Tom Brady and Tom Coughlin, or Eli Manning and Bill Belichick?
Tom Brady and Tom Coughlin. I'll tell you why.
But that sort of pisses on
Tom Brady and
that sort of pisses on your argument that Tom Coughlin's overrated as a coach, and
No. It doesn't piss on my argument. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that while I think Bill Belichick is possibly the greatest coach ever, I know, not even in my heart of hearts, I know for a scientific fact, sports science, whatever you want to call it, that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback that ever lived. I don't care if a bunch of people in the Harris poll voted for Joe Montana. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah.
Brady was second best
Peyton
ever.
was third.
No.
How was
Tom Brady?
How was Jim Brown fifth, by the way?
Because they did a lot of quarterbacks first, basically.
That's stupid.
But Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback. First of all, Jerry Rice is the best football player that ever lived today, still. You might say Jim Brown. I'm saying Jerry Rice.
I'm going to say Jim Brown.
You could maybe say Lawrence Taylor or a few defensive players, too, if you want to go defense. Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback that ever lived. That's not disputable anymore. That's not debatable. I mean, the man didn't make the AP team this year or last year. At worst, he should have been in the All-Pro number 2. Last year, Tony Romo was. This year, Carson Palmer is. All right, fine. You want to give Cam Newton the MVP? Yay, MVP to Cam Newton. He ain't the best quarterback in the league. He ain't the second best quarterback in the league. Give him the AP one. That's great. Well, the best quarterback in the league is still Tom Brady. He could throw it to the mailman and score you touchdowns. That's what happened. He led the league in touchdowns again. He is the best. Devastated offensive line. Tons of injuries. Lost your 2 best backs, and on top of your 2 best backs, not even including Dion Lewis as a pass catcher,
probably the
his
best
his 4 best pass. Well, he lost Edelman for a time,
yep.
LaFell for a big period of time, Gronkowski for a big period of time. Well, actually, just
one game.
And Amendola. For Gronk, that's a lot of times. Like, we need Gronk. But you lose all those guys, and you still lead the league in touchdowns? That's insane. No other quarterback does that.
Did Tom Brady and Tom Coughlin together win 4 Super Bowls?
They win at least 3.
You're not.
I'll give the 4th to Belichick.
So you're willing to say at least 3?
I'll say he goes 3 out of 4 in the Super Bowl. That ain't bad.
So if Coughlin's a coach from 01 to 04, they still win 3 out of 4 for you.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think if Belichick's the coach, they probably win 3 in the New York. Remember the year after when they were stacked?
So you give Eli another one.
Remember 08?
Okay.
I think it was 08. They were actually really good. The Giants. They started out I think 6-1.
They finished like 12-4.
Yeah, they were beast.
Who
they lost to Green Bay.
Was it Green Bay or Philly?
I believe it was Green Bay.
I don't think. No, it wasn't Green Bay.
Check it out. Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. No, because in 08,
I thought they lost to Green Bay in the division.
No. In 08, that was Rodgers' first year as a starter.
Oh, that's correct.
But
we're just looking that up real quick.
You bump Eli from 2 rings to 3 with Belichick over the last 15 years.
Yeah, but see, I think, and this is something I've said.
So you think it's pretty much even? You say that with Coughlin and Brady, it's at least 3. Belichick and Eli, you bump them 1 more and they get 3.
Yes.
With that defensive
line.
But
I think as an overall, if you just gave me those 2 in a vacuum, first of all, the problem with this is Belichick is the greatest GM that ever lived. So he's automatically going to make the Giants better year in, year out. Add all the players from the Patriots suddenly onto the Giants and give him Eli Manning, and we still win a few Super Bowls. That's not to downgrade Brady. As important as quarterback is, and I've written about this and spoken about this many a time, quarterbacks are still overrated. Joey McNuggets, Flacco, won you a Super Bowl. He let his balls hang low. Okay?
He was awesome.
He was incredible. Postseason. Probably the greatest postseason a Super Bowl quarterback has ever seen. Okay? Was it 11 touchdowns, 0 picks that year?
Yep.
Just a monster. Okay? The guy is average to sub-average.
I was right. They lost to Philly.
He was an average to sub-average, slightly below average quarterback. Okay? If you put Joe Flacco, I think his first 4 or 5 years in the league, he was worth 1 win over a replacement quarterback based on advanced statistics. But the team around him was great. So if you put a great team around a mediocre quarterback, like an Eli, suddenly you give him... Dude, you give me Victor Cruz and Hakeem Nicks at that point, when they were still like great players. I could win you a Super Bowl. I'm going to throw it up. They can catch the ball. Give me Calvin Johnson. I'm going to throw me 30 touchdowns. I could throw the ball 40 yards. I'll be like, Calvin, go deep. I'm going to throw it up, bro. You jump up and catch it, all right? Break. That's what you do when you have a Michael Jordan, when you have a Larry Bird, when you have any great player, LeBron James. So with the Tom Brady, you go, throw the ball. That's why the game last week pisses me off. Because Belichick's like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get Steven Jackson really involved. We're going to work on the run game. This is practice for next week. No, it ain't. It's not practice for your fucking divisional round. This is a game that gets you a number 1 seed. This is for home field advantage, so you don't have to fly your ass to Denver, which they usually beat you in Denver. The Patriots have never won a playoff game in Denver. I don't want to go to Denver.
They never win in Denver, period.
Brady doesn't play well in Denver. And unless Tim Tebow's quarterbacking for that team, I'm scared. And I know that Peyton has no arm, and he has a noodle, and he has a limp little dick. I don't know what the hell's wrong with him.
Pencil dick.
Yeah. That's a joke, by the way. Brady's kids have howitzers. You got to see the... that was from Barstool a while ago. That's kind of disgusting. But regardless, Peyton Manning scares me right now. It's irrational.
It
makes no sense.
Right. You're right. It's irrational.
But he scares me because if I have to go into Denver with my team, especially the way it's been beat up, and even if Tom Brady plays okay in against that defense, and then Peyton Manning, he has so many weapons there still in Denver, it just scares me. I'd rather see Brock, even though I think he's a better quarterback. Makes no sense. I think they'll play a lot harder for Peyton than they will for Brock. They'll win one for the Gippa, so to speak. They're not going to go all out for Brock. Let's get into the actual playoffs. Not the divisional, not the Super Bowl, not the championship rounds. Let's talk about the WildCard weekend.
Which is my favorite weekend, by the way.
Divisional is my favorite weekend. I think you get the best 8 teams playing. WildCard's really good because you still get 8 teams with the 4 games, but it's not as good because I feel like usually, especially the 4th division winner, is usually a crap team. Too many divisions in football. The scheduling works perfect. A lot of things are cool about it. Divisional setup sucks. 4 divisions with only 2 wild cards. It's not right. It should be 3 and 3, if not 2 and 4. Wild cards, I understand that they're not the division winner, but when your division's 3 sucky teams and you're 7 and 9 and can make the playoffs, that's happened now. 7, 8, and 1 made the playoffs last year. I mean, this is not right. It's just not. This is not what playoffs are meant to be. Sub 500 teams should automatically be eliminated from football playoffs. Automatically. That would be like a baseball team winning like 78 games and being like, but we won our division, we're in.
Well, in 2006, the St. Louis Cardinals won 83 games, won the division, and won the World Series, so it has happened.
Right, and what I think is that you are, especially in the playoffs, because of how hot teams can get, and how small a sample size it is, which is why the clutch factor and the crap in the playoffs arguments kind of don't always hold water, because it's such a small sample size statistically. And I know you could say, oh, you just didn't perform. Well, Clayton Kershaw only played in so many playoff games. David Price only played in so many playoff games. I mean, if you gave them double the sample size, maybe they look a lot better.
It's different for pitchers.
It's different for everybody, but I just mean that playoffs are so small a sample size in such a small period of time, you can easily lose a series. You can lose a series on one play because the whole thing swings. Correct?
I agree with that, but...
especially in football with one game, correct? You're benefiting mediocre teams.
Here, with Peyton, the sample size is huge.
I'm not even talking about Peyton. Peyton's like the astronomical outlier of, okay, this dude just sucks in the playoffs. And I know he's had a lot of good games, but if you look at his good games, it's like when...
he's had a lot of bad ones, too.
That's like when Indy played Denver, and it was like, oh... Indy played Kansas City, I think, one year, and it was just like, there was 0 punts in the game. The end. 49-42. And I remember that absolute game. Insane stuff happening. That's not really that you played so well as much as it's a giant deficit of the other team's defense sucks. And so Peyton has a couple games where he played really weak defenses. And if you're not going to adjust for how crappy your defense is, like, if you had me cover Steph Curry, how many points do you think he'd put up on me in a game?
Unlimited.
Okay, so if he scores 100 on me, that's not the same as scoring 100 on, say, Kawhi Leonard, correct?
Right.
All right, so that's what matters. You got to look at that kind of thing. I think it's really poor to say so many division winners should get in, because then a mediocre team benefits, gets in the playoffs, goes on a run, wins the Super Bowl, a la 2011 Giants, who let up more points than they scored.
Negative differential.
And suddenly they're the Super Bowl champion and the best team in the sport when they're really garbage.
In their defense, though, and everyone who knows me knows I despise the Giants for obvious reasons. I hated the Giants before those 2 Super Bowls.
I don't even hate the Giants.
I hate the Giants. But they were hurt most of that year, and they got healthy and hot at the right time. And that's really what it comes down to.
I don't want a team that just gets healthy and hot and has a crap season
in
the playoffs.
I do.
Might as well let them all in then and see if a 4 and 12 team can
I'd rather go
make it through.
I'd rather go 8 and 8 and friggin' get hot and win the Super Bowl than go 16 and 0.
As a fan, right? But my whole premise is that 8 and 8 teams shouldn't even be in the Super Bowl. They shouldn't be allowed to be in the playoffs, because if your playoff system and seeding was correct, 11 and 5 teams would go over a 9 and 7 team just based on whatever division they're in. Mm-hmm. The fact that if you're going to have 4 divisions and you want it like that, maybe only the top 3 divisional winners make the playoffs, and the other one has to have a record above a certain point to make the playoffs. Like if you're not at least a 10-win team, winning your division doesn't give you an automatic in. You get your divisional crown, so you get your little...
hat and t-shirt.
Yeah, your little Oh, you want my hat? You want the little? If we're in Indy, we're gonna make a banner. But I don't think you should be in the playoffs at 7-9, at sub 500, especially when there's better teams in the league that play in tougher divisions with better records. It's a joke. Anyways, moving on to the actual games.
Want to start with KC? KC and Houston?
I guess we'll start down the actual chalk. I have a problem with the way it's set up. I don't like two AFC games on one and two NFC on the other. I like it spread out. Why is that? Just my preference. I like to focus more on the AFC originally. I'll watch the NFC games, but they'll kind of be more baseball background noise type watching, depending on what's going on.
I'm gonna enjoy the Seattle and Minnesota game.
I think Seattle's gonna crush them. We'll get into that. Let's go to the KC Texans game.
Want to do analysis and then we'll do scores?
Yeah.
All right. Here's my analysis. Houston could be the worst playoff team in the history of football, and I think Kansas City's going to roll. Absolutely roll. You block J.J. Watt, you win the game. It's that simple. Well, and I know Alex Smith
isn't that good.
Can't throw down the field, but you know what?
Jeremy Maclin's a weapon.
He is, but Alex Smith is just like you said, like a mediocre quarterback, like a poor man's Chad Pennington or a rich man's Chad Pennington, however you want to look at it. But he doesn't make mistakes. He manages the game, which is, that's...
He doesn't lose you games.
He doesn't
really win you games, but he doesn't lose them.
Right.
And that team is possibly the most well-rounded team in the playoffs. They had Jamal Charles on that team. He's the only one that's IR that really matters on the team, I think.
You know what, though? When he went down, they got hot and they won 10 in a row.
I don't think it's him, though.
Yeah, but
he was the best player, in my opinion.
You know what, though? It's
not Justin Houston, maybe. But.
It's not a running league anymore. It's a passing league, and once
he's a pass catcher, though.
Yeah, but when he went down, they were forced to throw more.
I understand, and Macklin's a beast. I love Macklin. I mean, note that you don't need to know. I drafted Macklin in a bunch of fantasy leagues this year. Why? Because the guy's a player. Chip Kelly should have held on to him. Maybe he'd still have a job.
I doubt it.
Kansas City, I know most people don't care about this. Their SRS is phenomenal. It's a 9.0.
See, Chris is a lot more into the advanced statistics than I am. I go by the eyeball test.
Houston's SRS is a negative
-0.8,
so they're almost a -1, so that they basically suck.
Still better than Indy. They
play in a crap division. No, they are better than Indy.
I can't believe I didn't win those wings.
Neither one of them has any type of injuries that I think is going to impact in this game, other than the people that are already IR'd.
Well, with Kansas City's pass rush, with Houston and Ali.
I don't even know if... I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm picking Kansas City.
I'm picking Kansas City, yep.
I'm putting the score as 27-17. And when I said wrote Houston down at 17 points, I'm like, I don't even know how they're going to score 17.
I like Kansas City 24-10.
DeAndre Hopkins, great wide receiver. Think they'll be able to run the ball maybe here and there, but I don't know. I mean, what are they going to do with their quarterback?
They don't have a quarterback. They have no running game. Arian Foster is out. He's been out pretty much all year. Did he even play this year?
Yeah, for a few games.
And then they have one wide receiver. They have one defensive player that can really hurt you. Actually, Joseph's actually a decent cornerback.
Joseph's a really good cornerback. He gets underrated sometimes because people forget about him because he's in Houston and they kind of suck.
DeAndre Hopkins, he's the only one in this offense you really have to be concerned about.
The only one that really scares you, sure.
Yeah.
It's a great wide receiver, by the way. I mean, J.J. Watt...
Oh, he'd be getting... I mean, he's not as good, obviously, but if he was on, Pittsburgh instead of Antonio Brown, he'd be putting up good numbers.
I know,
he wouldn't be putting out Antonio Brown numbers, but he'd still be pretty good.
He's close, though. If there's three receivers, it goes probably Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, and then DeAndre Hopkins right now. And then probably ODB, whether he's being a crazy lunatic beating up people or not. By the way, that's a lot Josh Norman's fault. I think we talked about that. That's absurd.
He instigated it to some extent, but you can't freaking launch yourself at someone. Even back in the old days, I think the NFL,
referees and coach should take a hold of that and kick him out. That's on them.
I mean, in Coughlin's defense, he did kind of say to him on the sideline, what the F are you doing? Cut the shit. But
he said, where's my Viagra and my other stuff?
Shut up. But at the same time, Coughlin wants to win the game. He's not going to take him out. His job's on the line, and he's trying to make the playoffs.
I'm not telling him he has to take him out the whole game. He has to sit him down for,
a series.
A couple series and say, dude.
But again, he's trying to win the game. You can't take your best player off the field. You're trying to win the game.
Then you got to smack him in the head and say, dude, you do that again, I'm kicking you out.
He basically did.
He didn't really do that.
He got in his face and said,
"Not enough.
Not enough. Okay, but he did.
Did he go far enough? Did he stop him?
That should have been enough.
It continued. I mean, it was like watching WWE.
Saying it once should have been enough.
But I think Kansas City's going to roll. They're the 4:35 game this Saturday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Out of all my picks, I would probably say I'm the most confident in that. I give Houston a very small shot at winning the game.
I would agree with that.
I'm a little worried about Clowney. I think he's been playing pretty well. I know Scotty thinks he's not that hot, but Clowney's been a different player the past 6 or so games. So.
Well, he's been on the field. That's the difference.
He's been good, though. Second game.
I really wanted to interject here. An injury to the pass that no one's talking about is Easley on the defensive line.
Yeah, the problem I have with that is the defensive line's stacked. And they don't use just one guy.
No, the defensive line...
So you still have Malcolm Brown, you still have Saliga, you still have Branch. That's fine. I forget you still have one other guy I'm forgetting. On the outside, you have Grissom. You have Chandler Jones, who's questionable for the division round. We'll see. He'll play. You have Ninkovich, and you have Jabal Sheard mixing your defensive line stacked.
Yeah, but...
This might be the deepest defensive line I've seen the Patriots have. That's saying something.
Yeah, but you know what? Without Easley, and especially without Hightower, who's their best linebacker...
Hightower might be back for the playoffs.
No, he'll be back. I don't think he's going to miss... I don't think he's going to miss any playoff games. But they've been getting gashed a little bit on the ground. You've seen it the last few weeks. Actually, especially in the Jet game. But
the Jets are a good running team, though.
I get that, but...
Not every team runs well like that.
You go back to the Denver game, Broncos were doing absolutely nothing on the ground that game. He goes down, and then they started...
That was Hightower. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I thought you were talking about Easley still.
No.
I don't think Easley's that big a deal. I mean, I like Easley. I think he contributes, but I don't think he's... I don't even know if he's your top 5 or 6 defensive lineman. If you want to put Sheard as a lineman, especially.
Yeah, Sheard's more of like an edge rusher, though.
Is he, though? Because what's Nink? Because Nink's kind of a tweener, too. I'm not even sure Chandler Jones is. He could probably play outside linebacker, usually.
Sheard has like a little, like, Willie McGinnis in him. Like, same, like...
Not exactly the same build, but...
Yeah, but McGinnis could play as a down lineman, and he could also play a little linebacker, so he was kind of...
I feel like he was a lot bigger than Sheard, though.
Probably a little bit.
But the second game is Steelers at the Bengals.
I'm looking forward to this one. You know why?
I am too.
You know why?
No
Andy Dalton.
This is the thing, though. I think this is going to be the closest game out of the 4.
I'll agree.
I really do. It's a divisional game. These teams hate each other. The league already sent them a memo, whatever the hell they did. Pittsburgh's a little beat up, but I think they got a really solid chance still. I think.
Yeah, the running back's out though.
I know. D'Angelo Williams is out. Cincy.
So you know what they're gonna do? They're just gonna throw it. They're gonna have to throw it 55 times.
Okay, but Cincy has this is the thing. Cincy, other than maybe Kansas City, Cincy's probably the second most well-rounded team in the playoffs. Arizona's up there too, but Cincy as a team, they're like stacked everywhere. Okay, so I know they don't have a quarterback right now. Huge hole. I get it. Engine quarterback, especially the way Dalton was playing.
Interject there. I actually think it's an upgraded quarterback.
No.
I do. Because I know one thing about A.J. McCarron. He's played in big games his whole life. He's not going to pee down his leg tomorrow. Andy Dalton would most assuredly pee down his leg because that's what he does.
I get that. And I understand the argument of, well, they never did it. But I hate that argument until at least the end of someone's career. And the reason for that is, at some point, everyone hasn't done it. The second you enter the league, you haven't won a championship. I mean... I don't want to go back to him because we always do. Derek Jeter didn't win anything other than the fact that he was on stacked teams. So for someone to sit there and be like, well, no, man, never won a championship. Derek Jeter did.
Man, you hate that guy.
No, I don't hate Derek Jeter.
Yeah,
you know what?
You do.
You know what upsets me, though? Real quick tangent. Ken Griffey Jr. was on over 99% of the ballots. He was left off of 3. Eventually, those 3 guys are going to be booted from the BBWA.
No, they won't.
You don't think so? They won't. But problem I have is, you know who's going to be the first unanimous player selected?
Derek Jeter.
And I'm going to be pissed. And it's not because I hate Jeter. It's because I hate the crazy love for Jeter. Everyone is a Jeter file. And he's not even that good. He's a very good Hall of Fame level player. Get it. He should make it in. He should be a first ballot. I have no problem with that. Are you going to sit here and tell me he's a generational player?
You don't think he's the GOAT?
I don't think he's close to the GOAT. He's going to go down. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be voted unanimously.
I know he won't.
He will. Mariano Rivera won't, but Jeter will. Don't ask me why it's going to happen. It's going to happen
for Christ's
Jeter.
sake. Babe Ruth wasn't unanimous.
Right. But we're getting closer and closer. I mean, what was it? I think Willie Mays missed...
Prior to...
Ted Williams missed 11 ballots. Willie Mays missed like 14 or something. And Ruth missed 20, which is absurd, by the way. Something like that.
It was different back then.
I know. And so it's been getting less and less of people being not actually on the ballot. Ken Griffey missed 3 ballots. Jeter's going to be unanimous, and I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be bullshit because he's not that good. He's just not.
He was pretty good.
He's very good for a long period of time. Not an all-time great.
His peak
if he's the first unanimous baseball...
His peak wasn't as good as Rodriguez. We're in agreement on that. 100%.
His peak wasn't as good as Barry Bonds. His peak wasn't as good as Rafi Palmeiro.
No.
Who you're like, keep him out. I have a huge problem if Jeter's the first one unanimously selected. That's all I'm going to say. Would you agree with that? And would you be happy if it was Jeter?
It's not going to be unanimous. Because no one's unanimous.
I think it is, though. Because
Ken Griffey isn't unanimous. I don't know who is.
But they've been kicking out all those bums that don't watch baseball anymore. All the old school guys. All the guys that have that real hard-on for I can't vote him in the first time.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, one thing you could say is that Clemens and Bonds were right around 35% a year ago, and they were almost 50.
I know, but they said since they kicked all the guys off that weren't voting for him, they didn't actually go up enough. They're probably not going to make it anytime soon.
Well, the other thing is, too, they lowered the time on the ballot from 15 to 10. So
can we talk about Reigns, too, by the way? He is not a Hall of Famer.
You look up his numbers and compare them to Bill Buckner. I told you this the other day. They're the same player.
Compare him to Edmonds.
Jim Edmonds was a hell of an outfielder.
Right. Is he going to be a Hall of Famer?
I think Larry Walker and Jeff Kent are both better than him.
Oh, right. But is Edmonds going to be a Hall of Famer?
Probably not.
Well, he deserves to be a Hall of Famer before Reigns does. He's a better fielder. He was a better hitter with a better OPS. I understand Reigns was a good player. Very good. I'm not trying to take that away from people being good players.
There's a difference between being great and very good.
Right. And even Jeter was very good. I don't think he was great. I just think Jeter was very good for so long. With the rings, he's got to get in. That's my point. Is like Derek Jeter isn't like the lowest level Hall of Famer, but he's like, if it's Bill Simmons' pyramid for basketball, but for baseball version, he's like the next level up. He's not even a Paul Pierce of baseball, okay? He's really not. He just won a couple extra rings. He's like Tommy Heinsohn, okay? That's who Derek Jeter is. If he were to be your first unanimous after guys like the Jordan of baseball, which would probably be who? Babe Ruth? Babe Ruth? If he's not unanimous, and I understand it's a different era, and Ted Williams isn't unanimous, we'll call him, he can't be the Russell because he never won. We'll call him the Kareem of baseball, whatever. I mean, you got these guys like that are not unanimous, and no one's been unanimous. Griffey, probably if not including people that took steroids, if we're going to take Barry Bonds out, because he became otherworldly after he started juicing, let's just presume or assume, I don't know what you want to call it, that Griffey's clean. If he's 100% clean, he's the most talented player I've ever seen. Most talented. All around.
My top 3 are...
Compared to only the clean people.
My top 3 as far as just talent are Bonds, Griffey, and Alex Rodriguez.
I agree. We agree with that. And the thing is, I know Bonds and A-Rod were juiced out of their minds.
And Mike Trout and...
Trout's up there.
He's going to be.
And Harper could be too. I'm still a little leery on Harper because Trout seems to do it every single year.
I'm going to say this. Right now, Trout's the best. Harper's right there.
Oh, it's really close right now. I know you love Machado.
No. Machado and
Manny Machado.
He could end up being better than both of them.
And that's when I would say, Xander Bogaerts.
No, you know what, though? Just because, like, Harper's a very good defensive player. Trout's actually a great defensive player.
For those of you that don't know our allegiances, I am a Boston fan through and through. I root for all Boston teams. Scotty is a Boston guy. He roots for everything Boston, except he roots for the Orioles. I know it's kind of sad for him, but it's good for the rest of us because we get to laugh at him. But he has this massive love affair with Manny Machado.
I don't hate the Sox, though.
No, you like the Sox. You actually hate the Yankees more than the Sox.
I don't hate the Red Sox.
No, I know. We're dynamic in Scotty's household, not to get too personal, but he has Red Sox fans, he's an Orioles fan, and then he has a Yankees fan. It's kind of weird. It's kind of cool, though, because you get 3 AFC, AL East guys.
My father hates the Red Sox.
Yeah.
That's like his favorite pastime is ripping on the Red Sox. So...
I don't really blame him.
He really must have hated it in '86. I was only a year old with the Mets and the Red Sox. Probably his 2 most hated teams.
Yeah, but then he loved it at the end. Probably, just to watch the Red Sox collapse.
No, I think he was actually rooting for Boston that series.
Was he really?
He hated that Mets team.
Hate the Mets more?
He rooted for the Sox in '67 too, but like everyone was.
Oh, that team was like special.
Yeah.
little bit different. Okay.
Yeah, we're way off.
This is what we do.
All right, Steelers, Bengals.
Yeah, we didn't finish that. I think Big Ben's probably going to throw pretty well. Antonio Brown's a monster. I don't know if I've ever seen a wide receiver at his peak be better. It's up there. If he had...
Other than like Rice, maybe.
Right. No, I think it's equal.
Rice, Moss, and he's like right there.
Rice, he's right at that level, like Calvin Johnson a few years
Carter,
ago. Right. Like I don't know if I've ever seen anyone be better. I'm not saying he's the best. I'm not. He's better than them.
He's in the conversation.
He's in that conversation. That tier and little phase of how good he is. Scotty just showed me a half poster of Franco Harris. You'd have to get it. The joke is Scotty loves everything Italian. So one day I was like, you go to Scotty's house, you see half a poster of Franco Harris hung up.
The other half, and then the other half is Roy Campanella.
Yeah. I think Pittsburgh, even though they seem dangerous,
most dangerous team in the AFC.
I thought they were a few weeks ago. I don't anymore.
They do.
Without D'Angelo Williams, their defense, they haven't been playing so
They
hard.
are vulnerable on the defensive side of the ball.
I actually think Cincy's going to win this game.
I know you told me that earlier, and that's fine.
I think Cincy's going to win this game. I think they're a better overall team. I know they don't have the same quarterback.
They're more well-rounded.
Again, they're at home.
Again, I think McCarron is an upgrade over Dalton. I know Dalton was having a very good year. I understand that.
I think that's insane to say. I understand his premise is because it's the playoffs, and Dalton's going to piss down his leg like Peyton Manning version 2.0.
You would have seen little ice. If it's going to be cold in Cincy on the river, you would have seen little icicles running right down his friggin' pant leg.
I think my score is I have Cincy 24-23.
Ooh.
I think Pitt's going to have the ball last, and Roethlisberger is going to fuck it up. That's just my opinion. That's just how I see it going down. Doesn't mean I'm right, but that's my prediction.
Cincinnati Bengals have never been good under the bright lights. They won't be tomorrow. The thing, I love division playoff games because you've already played them twice.
Oh, it's so awesome. A third time?
So these two teams know each other so well, all the game planning essentially goes right out the window.
Oh, because you're going to see people getting stuffed at the line on running plays. You're going to see pass plays where they just know each other's weaknesses, but they know how to prevent each other's things.
They know all the snap counts. They know all the audibles. It's just
weird because it's almost a more involved chess game, but your pieces don't move the same. So it's just very confusing. It's awesome to watch. The third time in a season is always awesome to watch.
For a score, I like the Steelers, if you didn't get that. They're actually favored. What are they favored by?
3.
By 3. Yeah.
Kansas City's favored by 3, too, by the way. We didn't give you that line. If you guys are going to bet, I would bet Kansas City big. If I'm going to bet any of the games this weekend, Kansas City big.
Yeah, I think Kansas City 24-10, I think I said. I'm going to say Pittsburgh. I'm going to say 27-17. Fair
enough.
27-17.
Now we're going to go to Sunday.
Jump to the NFC.
The NFC, which, I want to be frank here, everyone tells me the NFC is so much better than the AFC. I just don't buy it. I don't see it.
They're more top heavy.
I haven't seen it in a few years. A few years ago, I would have definitely said, yeah. Honestly, Carolina, very good team. 15-1, the worst 15-1 team that ever existed. Correct?
Yeah.
That's not a lot of 15-1 teams. That's not terrible to say, but
the 98 Vikings were 15-1. That team was infinitely better.
In a vacuum, and just tell me which team's the best in the NFC right now, I'd say Arizona and Seattle.
Arizona all around, I'd say right now. But as far as which team's just white hot right now, it's Seattle.
Those are the two best teams in the NFC to me.
That's the NFC Championship game. I'm saying it now. I've been telling you this since Thanksgiving? That's going to be your NFC Championship.
So we have Seattle with the second best running back, according to Adrian Peterson, and Marshawn Lynch is a damn good running back, versus the Vikings at home for Minnesota. It's going to be cold.
It's going to be a running game, I think.
Seattle's favored by 5, which that's about right for the line, I'd say. It's going to be hard to know what's going to go on here. AP is a monster. But I don't know how much he's going to be able to do.
Is he going to be able to run on that front?
I don't know. But AP, I was looking at, he's 17th right now all-time rushing. Okay? 11,675 yards.
I figured he'd be higher than that.
17th. It's kind of weird. Well, he has 11,600. Guys like Fred Taylor have almost 12,000 yards. He's either right above or right below AP, even though I don't even know if I think he made 1 Pro Bowl in Jacksonville. But you add 1,000 yards to just pretend. We have no idea what he's going to rush for, but it's 30 now. Add 1,000 yards the next 2 years, he jumps up to 6th all time.
Does he really?
That's crazy. He could do that.
Is
Because I'm talking about 1,000 even.
Is Emmett still the leader?
Emmett's the leader with 18,000 something.
Yeah.
I mean, then Walter was 16,000 something.
My father always said he was overrated.
Walter
Payton.
Yeah. Walter Payton's one of those guys that he really polarizes people's opinions. Either people think Walter was great and love him and his sweetness.
He was sort of like the Derek Jeter of running backs.
Yeah, or he's just like an Emmitt Smith, pre-Emmitt Smith / Derek Jeter type. Like, he was good for a long period of time, and he was, pretty good.
I think the two best ever are probably Jim Brown and Barry Sanders.
I probably agree. I just agree that I think it goes Walter Payton number 3. I don't know where you have Walter. You like OJ and Dickerson, I think, more than I do.
I would have Juice higher than.
I know you love Juice. Even though he's allergic to oranges. You want to kill Scotty Cash? Send him oranges in the mail. But personally, I mean, I'm starting to wonder how high AP is going to be up the all-time list. Out of backs you've seen.
Where do I have him?
Yeah. Because I was thinking about this. I still have Barry number 1.
I gotta think about this. Sanders was the best I saw.
Yeah, I agree.
Give me a second. He might be 4th.
I mean, I know Curtis gets underrated.
He might. I would say, like, my top 5 that I've seen, because again, I didn't see Jim Brown, I didn't really see Walter Payton. I would say my 5 in no particular order. Sanders is 1. My top 5 are probably Sanders, Emmett, Curtis, Tomlinson, and then probably AP.
See, I don't think Emmett's that high for me. I think I'd probably go. I'm gonna put Marshall Faulk up there.
I know he was on a great team, and they had a beast offensive line.
Emmett to me, Emmitt Smith is the post Walter Payton. Different styles, of course, but he's the Derek Jeter, realistically, of football, of running backs.
He's a hell of a back.
Right, hell of a back that just played forever at a very good level. I don't think. I mean, he was better than Troy Aikman. When you're just like not considering positions, but where you are in your position, so to speak. But Michael Irvin's the best player on that team, offensively, like out of the big 3. Michael Irvin was at times probably the best receiver in the league.
Well, you said offense, defense. You got Prime over Irvin.
Deion Sanders is the greatest quarterback not named Chris O'Keefe.
Cornerback. You said quarterback.
Oh, that's what I meant. Cornerback. Oh yeah, quarterback. That's Tom Brady. Deion, he used to shut down half the field. Legitimately. I remember people wouldn't even look his way and throw. Like, take what they do to Revis times 3. That's what they did to Deion. That's why, as great as I think Revis is probably the second best cornerback I've ever seen, Deion's the best.
A lot of the old timers, like, we'll say,
he wouldn't tackle though.
Mike Haynes too.
Yeah, and I've watched a lot of his games. I just don't see. And it was also a way different era because you could like beat the shit out of people.
You could close.
You could like
people.
stick them, and you'd stick to them and just hang out.
Go watch old film of what like Night Train Lane and like Deacon Jones.
Those guys like
people.
Molested people, like legitimate. Like they could have been charged for rape and stuff.
Like even like the 70s and 80s, like guys like.
Real quick tangent: is Steven Jackson a bad luck charm?
I don't want to go there.
Well, we get the guy who lose 2 games. What the hell's going on?
Well, they didn't play anybody too.
But I mean, Deion. I guess I'd say Deion.
So I think
he didn't play that long in Dallas, but he was definitely.
If we're talking peak for those guys, it's Sanders. But right after that, I mean, Tomlinson in his prime was.
I'd say Sanders. For me, I think I go Sanders.
Well, we're just talking peak right now that we've seen.
Peak best, yeah, best. Sanders. We can go just peak, not overall career. Marshall Faulk. Probably have next.
That's fair.
Okay. Then I'm probably going to go with Tomlinson. I'm not going to count guys from the 80s because I really didn't see them much. Like,
no,
I saw them, but not the same as 90s players in 2000s.
That's like I tell people the best linebacker I saw was Ray Lewis, even though I did see LT.
I saw LT
was done.
And I saw people playing. I mean, I saw Joe Montana, but I didn't see all of Joe Montana.
Scratch that. LT was never really done, but like he was.
You know what I mean? He wasn't 86 LT.
Yeah.
Like, it's different.
No, like, I remember Montana with the Chiefs. It wasn't the same.
Yeah, I remember him at the end of San Francisco in a couple of years. Like, I remember Steve Young vividly. His peak.
Do too, yeah.
I don't remember... I remember Joe Montana playing. I don't remember his peak as vividly, obviously. That's just our age, guys. But, I don't know who I would have 4th.
Honorable mention from...
Just peak, but...
Honorable.
I feel like we're
honorable mention from our period that we've been watching football is Priest Holmes.
I was going to say, if we're just doing peak,
really good.
Priest Holmes is up there. If we're just doing peaks, obviously Terrell Davis is up there. I mean, if we're doing peak only, I still say Barry's probably the best, but I'd say out of the best I've seen.
Terrell Davis for those 2-3 years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But I guess I go Barry. I go Falk. I go Tomlinson. Probably Curtis, and then AP.
Curtis might have been the most consistent of all the guys you named.
The crazy thing about Curtis, like we said, is he just ran for 1,000 yards every year. Just put him out there. He got 1,200, 1,300 yards. Didn't say boo. I mean, I think he dated Tony Braxton, but other than that, you didn't even hear about the guy, and nothing ever happened.
And the thing is,
quiet,
the
humble.
thing is, too, you can't say, they probably handed it off to him 30, 40 times a game. He played with good quarterbacks. Drew was a good quarterback. He played with Testaverde in New York. I mean, and then Pennington. He played with good quarterbacks. So it's not he was their only weapon behind a beast offensive line that just handed off to him 40 times. No. He played with good quarterbacks.
That's why when we did our first
all the teams that Curtis played on with the Patriots and the Jets, because again, you had Bledsoe, you had Testaverde, you had Pennington, they all had passing games. They all had above average passing games.
There is no way I'm going to sit here and think that Curtis Martin isn't at least a top 10 running back of all time.
He's top 10.
There's no way. I mean, you could throw in John Riggins or people like that, from way back in the day. No. Curtis Martin, beast. Again, it's not because he was a Patriot, because he really wasn't. He was a Jet. He spurned my team. But you know what? Great player. But AP's getting up there for me. He really is.
He's got the MVP. That's big for a running back.
He got an MVP. He led the league again in rushing.
Well, Sanders won an MVP in 97. LT won it in 06.
He has a 2,000-yard.
TD has one. TD won it in 98.
TD. Priest Holmes has one. Sean Alexander has one.
Priest Holmes never won an MVP.
No. He didn't win it in 05?
No.
Who won it in 05?
Sean Alexander did.
Sean Alexander I thought was 06.
No, Sean Alexander was 05. The year that Seattle won. 06 was Tomlinson when he broke the touchdown.
That was the difference, yeah.
That was the 14-2 Chargers team.
Had it backwards.
The Patriots had no right beating them. They went and they beat them. So.
Priest Holmes should have won one, too, when he made the touchdown record that Tomlinson later broke.
Troy Brown, by the way, is probably the reason that Peyton has a Super Bowl ring.
The reason Peyton has a Super Bowl ring is because there was a lot of shit in that game.
There is no way that they go to San Diego that year.
That team, that game, there was a phantom pass interference. There was something happened on a field goal, and we kicked a field goal, and I think there was a holding, and they pushed us back 5 yards. I don't remember if Vinatieri missed it or then we punted.
My most vivid memory from that game was the catch that Rashae Caldwell made down the sideline.
Well, my most vivid memory is Rashae Caldwell's wide open. He's got his big bug eyes like he's Baxter. What's that guy's name from?
That's Indy.
Yeah, that's the game I'm talking about. Oh, that's the game
I was talking about San Diego.
He's got those, what's that guy's name from Ninja Turtles?
Splinter?
The Fly, Baxter.
Oh, I don't know.
Whatever his name is. I can't remember his last name. And Rashae Caldwell's sitting there with his big bug eyes. And Tom Brady throws to him. It's like 4 yards for a first down. End the game. Hits him in the hands. He drops it. And I'm literally it's like this, Scotty. Drops it. End of the game. Super Bowl. Super Bowl champions. All he has to do is catch the ball. I mean, where was Doug Gabriel? Maybe we should have kept him.
Jabbar Gaffney actually played really
good. Jabbar Gaffney was your best wide receiver that year. Think about that.
But he was a good receiver.
He was mediocre.
He was really good. No, he was good.
Mediocre.
He had a good year for them in 07. All right, getting back to Seattle. I want to go on a quick tangent for the Seattle game. Love that it's in Minnesota. Love that it's outside. Love that it's going to be 0 with a wind chill of minus 25. Got an axe to grind with the NFL. You really, and they won't do this. I'm going to preface this by saying they won't do this. You really want to find out if footballs deflate in cold weather? Test them on Sunday. Test the balls. See if they go down to APSI and 25 below.
Well, they will.
They won't do it.
No. The NFL won't do that, but I just want the listening audience to know, no matter if you're an Indy fan or whatever, that's what footballs do. They go down PSI-wise. And you know one of the reasons why you can't tell that it goes down a lot PSI-wise when you're outside at first? Because your hands get cold and the ball gets so hard, it still feels hard. When you're outside and it's 0 degrees out, a football feels like it's made out of cement. So you don't try to squeeze it too much. Okay?
I still think...
And even if you do, the difference between 12.5 and 11 or 12.5 and 9 is not that much.
I still don't think it's a big deal. And the reason that they won't do that is because they have an appeal coming up in about 6 weeks. And it's probably going to get laughed out of court anyway and thrown out, and the NFL's going to lose again. But if they bring the PSI results from that Minnesota game...
Well, I can't wait till they go to the appeal and whatever judge or whoever here is hearing it says...
It's 3 judges from a panel.
I thought it was a panel, but just like we said, they might kick it back down. But whoever hears it, I want them to be like, so you said Tom Brady dropping PSIs was like taking PEDs.
What about Peyton Manning?
But you're not going after Peyton Manning. What's going on here, NFL? That's what they should really do. But going back to the game...
I would pay pay-per-view money to see Goodell in the stand under oath. I'd love it.
I'd throw tomatoes at him. I'd be like, Tom Brady, don't eat these. That's ridiculous. His diet, ridiculous. The gluten-free, GMO-free, all that crap. Like,
yeah, let him do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants. I don't care if he wants to eat footballs for a living. It's ridiculous, okay?
So that was my one little point. They won't do it, but it would vindicate the Patriots and it'll never come out.
I think Seattle's going to win this game.
I do too.
I don't expect it to be that close.
You really think?
Seattle's been stomping people.
I'm going to pick a score because I actually think Minnesota's defense has actually been pretty good.
Okay.
Especially recently.
They've been good. I'll give them good.
I think they're going to struggle keeping Wilson out of in the pocket. And even if they keep him in the pocket, it threw 34 touchdown passes. I'm willing to go on here. You know I'm a Wilson guy, and I think you are too. I
like Wilson. He's my third favorite quarterback.
I know a lot of other people aren't.
I know people are like, oh, what do you mean third favorite? That's my hierarchy, okay? It goes Brady, Rodgers, Wilson.
Who's getting kicked in the teeth right now from everybody. But we'll get to that in a second because that's our next game we're going to be talking about. I'm willing to say that probably like week 8, 9 on, Russell Wilson's been the best quarterback in the NFL, guys.
I won't disagree with that. I mean, the past 5, 6, 7 games, whatever it's been, he's been absurd. And I think that's why they're going to just, even though Minnesota's got a good defense, I think they're going to put some points on them. And I don't think Minnesota can put as many points on Seattle. Not even close. If Marshawn Lynch is anything, who knows how he's going to be. Their offensive lines look better. Suddenly they actually have a passing game and a traditional-looking passing game.
I think they could win this game without Lynch. If Lynch plays, and he gives them anything, it's a bonus.
Well, that's my point. I think I get Seattle 30-17.
30-17?
30-7. I mean, they're going to put up points on the road.
I'm going to say Seattle 28-24.
Fair enough.
Because I think that Seattle will struggle a little bit early with the cold, and then they'll adjust. Because I mean they've played in cold weather.
Really quick, before, so. I just want to go down this thing I was looking at all the WildCard teams, and I was going over their amount of players IR'd for the year. Okay. Pittsburgh has 8 IAD players. Cincy has 4. Kansas City has 8. Houston has 11. Seattle has 7. Minnesota has 7. Green Bay has 6. Washington has 12. Okay? Why am I telling you this? Patriots have 14. And if you actually add up all the talent of their IAD players compared to every other team, not only do they have many more, there's a lot more talented players and important pieces. I know Jordy Nelson, yada, yada. I get that. I'm not saying individual players. I'm saying overall talent. Patriots have 14 players on IR and a ton of other questionable players. It looks like a honey-do list, okay, when you look at their injuries. Just this giant list of things to do. No, it's just all these players that are either dead or half dead trying to play, okay? No team is half as beat up as the Patriots in the league. It's sickening. And they still have a great shot to win the playoffs, Super Bowl, because they could win the whole playoffs. So, to me, that's why I'm super mad at Belichick. I know you want to give him a pass. That's why Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback ever.
I don't give him a pass for everything. I'll give him a pass for everything.
Oh, but you're like, yeah, bye week, whatever. It's Bill Belichick. Wouldn't coach this way if it was no injuries.
Honestly, spoiler alert, because we're probably going to be talking about this next week, depending on when your wife has the baby. But I don't even think Denver's going to the AFC Championship game, guys. I really don't.
Well, that depends who's going to go.
I mean, I think if they luck out and they get Houston, sure, they're going to the AFC Championship game. I think Houston's awful. I think Kansas City goes in there and beats them, and I think Pittsburgh goes in there.
Well, I'll go through my whole thing if you want to go through the whole thing today.
Nah, we'll save it.
That's my pre-playoffs predictions.
I'll give you 3 spoilers. Denver's not going to the AFC Championship game.
AFC Championship game, in my opinion, is going to be Kansas City at New England.
Probably. Carolina's not going to win the Super Bowl. And this third and final spoiler ties into that one. NFC Championship game, guys, is Arizona and Seattle. That's your NFC Championship game.
Could be.
No, it will be.
But so
they're the 2 best teams.
Green Bay versus Washington.
Really quickly, before we move on to Green Bay, Washington. Jimmy Graham, you surprised that it didn't work out for him at all so far, at least?
Well, this is the thing. Seattle's passing offense, absurd in the beginning of the season. Terrible.
Awful.
I don't know. They just started in the second half of the season running a more traditional passing offense. And by more traditional, I mean like, all right, we're not just going to have our quarterback run around with like a chicken with his head cut off in the backfield and then throw it around. No, we're going to actually design real NFL pass plays. Look, Russell Wilson can do it even though he's 5'11", 5'10". Yay! Okay? Then maybe if they were doing that with Jimmy Graham, he would have succeeded. Because you got Jimmy Graham. You got this nice Lamborghini, right? But you're trying to drive it in city traffic. That's not how you play. You bring him out to the highway and you unleash him. That's what you do with a Jimmy Graham.
See, I thought the Jimmy Graham trade, even though like he couldn't block the sun out of his eyes, he's a glorified receiver playing tight end. Not a very good tight end. He can't block.
But only about half the tight ends in the league can block, so let's be fair there.
Yeah.
About half.
But I never understood that trade because that trade to me, they were getting away from what they are. They're a running team.
And I understand that.
Lynch was the focal point of their offense.
And that's why I thought that the Saints won the trade a little bit.
With
even
Unger,
though I thought they both, it's weird to say, I thought they both lost because they both went away from who they were as teams, but they both won the trades. Now, if Seattle was doing what they were doing now on offense with Jimmy Graham, like the way that they're structuring their game, I think they would actually have done much better. I don't think Jimmy Graham's a bust or he doesn't work in Seattle. I think Seattle didn't do a good enough job fitting him in. You're using him wrong. If he had gone to the Patriots, Tom Brady would have had 75 touchdowns with him and Gronk. That just is what it is. I mean, I know Jimmy Graham's injured, but who knows if he gets injured in New England. Everyone gets injured in New England, apparently. But it's ridiculous. I think Jimmy Graham is still a great player. I think next year, because he was finally starting to wake up in that offense, next year the Giants going to be awake, and if Russell Wilson plays like he's playing now, and Jimmy Graham is anywhere near Jimmy Graham, they're going to be a beast on offense next year. But the thing with that team is their defense is finally starting to come back to not all-time great status.
Well, they're getting healthy now.
Yeah, but they're still not the defense. Like, every year they've been like, maybe a little off.
Since we were talking
they're
about
like Darrelle Revis. Like, I know where they're coming from, but they're going down.
You're only as good as the players you play with. How was Sherman looking earlier in the season when Chancellor was still holding out?
Quick side note, one of my cousins coached Chancellor, taught Chancellor in high school. She taught in Virginia. So, I don't know, it's a high school in Virginia. Random stat of the week. Random fact. Factoid that no one needs to know. I think Cam Chancellor is super underrated. I think Richard Sherman might be the third most important defensive back in Seattle's. Okay? I don't think... I think Richard Sherman is a better player than Brandon Browner and than the other cornerbacks they've had. I don't think...
Well, they don't have Vernon Maxwell
that much better.
Anymore.
No.
He's in Philly.
But I don't think he's that much better. I think E.T. is the little engine that runs that defensive backfield. Okay? First of all, defensive line stacked in certain ways. Not great all the way around, but they're like stacked. Their linebacking core is good. You got linebackers. Bobby Wagner's a beast. Yeah, it was a beast. You got an MVP vote last year. That's ridiculous. Granted, it was Tony Dungy, so it shouldn't count, but I digress. Earl Thomas is by far the best safety. He might be at a level now that I don't know if I've seen. And I'm including Ed Reed, and Paul Amalu wasn't as good as Ed Reed. I'm including Ed Reed. Ed
Reed was the best I saw.
Yeah, I'm including Ed Reed. I think right now Earl Thomas is at a higher level than Ed Reed ever was. As weird as that sounds. The way he's playing. The way he's been able to play for these years. He's absurd. And then Cam Chancellor fits in perfect with him. And those two guys let Richard Sherman be Richard Sherman. Otherwise, I don't know if Richard Sherman's Richard Sherman. You stick him with two random safeties, below average safeties, and get him out of that system that they run. And I don't know how good Richard Sherman really is. Not saying he's not good. I'm saying I think a little bit of his is overrated because he
gets burned to man coverage. But, I mean, that's every cornerback now.
Oh, yeah, Patrick Peterson? Cover just about anything. I mean, you're always, as a cornerback, you're always going to get burned. But it's like being a hitter in baseball. Like, If a cornerback is successful some of the time, or a certain percentage of the time, they're doing great. Like if you're 50-50 as a cornerback, you're actually really good. Just like a hitter, he fails 7 times out of 10. He's still awesome.
I was going to say, my Uncle Andrew used to say that all the time.
You fail 7 times out of 10, but you're awesome. If there's anything in life that I failed 7 times out of 10 at, I'd be fucking fired. But I'm not a baseball player. If I was a baseball player and a hitter hitting 300, I'd be awesome. I'd be like, give me $15 million a year. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, 28-24 Seattle. But I expect it to be close throughout.
I don't. 30-17. I really see this one. Even though I'm more confident that Kansas City will be Houston, I see this one as the biggest laugher, so to speak. I don't even know.
They went into Minnesota a few weeks ago and blew them out. They were just there.
Right.
You know, so
I feel like if Seattle comes to play, which I think they're going to, this game is going to be over by the second quarter. Not the beginning of the second quarter, but midway, halfway through the second quarter, maybe the end of the second quarter. I think this is already going to be a 2-score game, and a game that people probably go like, well, this one's kind of over. I mean, of course, there's a second half of football left, but you're going to see. Seattle's for real.
All those people in Carolina, the Tar Heels, Michael Jordan, Ric Flair, all y'all better be rooting for Minnesota because Seattle's going to come into your house.
And they're going to take it to you. Mm-hmm. The last game of the week.
Green Bay and Washington. The
Sunday,
Skins,
4:40 p.m.
The Washington Redskins, the offensive
What's
Redskins.
What's the line right now?
I don't know. My computer died.
I think it's Washington -1.
You got your phone? My phone's practically dead.
I do somewhere, but I think this game it actually intrigues me probably the most.
Because Rodgers is getting so much heat.
Well, it's because of Rodgers. Listen, I think people forget who Aaron Rodgers is. He's a bad man. If Aaron Rodgers was a wallet, he'd be the wallet of Jules in Pulp Fiction. Which wallet's yours? It's the one that says bad motherfucker, okay? Aaron Rodgers is a bad motherfucker. The dude's not even in the AFC, and it scares me that he's in the playoffs. Why? Because he's a beast. He's phenomenal. He's insane. On a talent scale, he's the most talented quarterback I have ever seen. He is...
It's as simple as this. He doesn't have the cast this year. He doesn't.
Well, you know what? I don't want that excuse because Tom Brady doesn't have the cast, and he brings everyone everywhere.
He said,
you give Tom Brady...
Give Aaron Rodgers Gronkowski, and he doesn't struggle like he did this year.
You give Tom Brady 3 tires and an airbag, and he makes it the AFC Championship game. Okay? You give him inanimate objects, and he makes the AFC Championship game. You gave him Rochelle Caldwell as your number 1, and he made it the AFC Championship game. You give him nothing but Julian Edelman, and what was that guy's name? Matt Mulligan, and some guys don't even play in the league anymore. He makes it the AFC Championship game. It doesn't matter who Tom Brady has. He makes it the AFC Championship game. There are 3 things in life that are guaranteed. Death, taxes, and Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game. Okay? So I don't want to hear Aaron Rodgers, oh, my cast. That's why Brady, if you're not going to give him the MVP, that's fine. Give it to Cam Newton, 15-1, phenomenal, understood. 12-4 or 15-1, you're a quarterback that's going to judge off wins. Because you're going to sit there and not give him the MVP for being the most valuable in a team that's decimated, because the Patriots are decimated. Okay? Actually, they're not even decimated, because decimated literally means you take 1/10 away. The Patriots are...
obliterated.
Yes. Destroyed. Okay? With injuries. If they were healthy, the Patriots go 16-0. Mark that down. Can't prove it. Never going to happen. They were 10-0.
They may have dropped 1 game.
No, if they had Deion Lewis and everybody healthy, I mean completely healthy, they would have walked to the friggin' Super Bowl. We wouldn't even be having this podcast. It would be like, this podcast would turn into a Tom Brady. That's it.
I still think they're going.
And they may. But I think they're probably going to lose if they go.
The way that Seattle and Arizona are playing right now,
I expect them both to beat the Patriots.
I think right now, assuming like the health stays the way it is, I think that's your Super Bowl. I think that's going to be Arizona and Seattle's going to be your big game.
But this is Aaron Rodgers, guys. I understand. Green Bay's look pretty bad. Okay, Green Bay locked up their playoff spot. Didn't have too much to play for, and they could have won the division. Whoop-de-doo. I'm sure they really care about the division. Washington, they're maybe the worst playoff team.
No,
them in Houston. It's close. It's close. Washington's been good the second half of the year. They had a really crap first half of the year. And I love how people always act like playing your best football, yada, yada, yada. I hear that all the time. A lot of times the Patriots played their best football. They didn't win the Super Bowl. 2010. Patriots playing their best football. They destroyed the Jets.
45-3.
Yeah, butt fumble game. Oh, look. Oh, was that the year before the Buffalo game?
No, 2010's the year they went 14-2.
Yeah.
They beat the Jets by
That wasn't
42.
the Buffalo game? Or it was?
No, Buffalo
was 2011.
12.
12?
It was 12.
Huh. My years are really getting confused right now.
It was Thanksgiving, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, because 2010, that's when they beat Detroit on Thanksgiving. My apologies. But the Patriots are playing their best football in 2010, okay? Then the playoffs come, and they lose to an inferior team at home. That's how this works, people. There's not this thing that magically momentum carries over game to game. No, you're as good as your next day's starter, so to speak. You're as good as your quarterback is that day. You're as good as your team shows up that day. You're as good as your coach coaches and your players are motivated that day. That's how good you are. You man up and you play. You could be the best team ever. In football, it's win or go home. One game. No momentum. Momentum means shit. I know that I've been saying, oh, this team's hot, this team's not hot. Honestly, momentum means shit in the playoffs. Okay? Because all these teams are good teams. All these teams are potentially hot. Some of these teams aren't playing their best football, but maybe they didn't have a good reason to play their best football. They locked up a seed. They locked up a bye. They're resting some guys. They're a little more injured. They're making sure they're healthy. So I get that. For that reason, I'm going Green Bay.
I am too.
Unless Kirk Cousins goes buck wild fucking nuts, I'm going Green Bay.
I like the Packers in this game. I'm going to say 20-16. 20-16. I can't go against Aaron Rodgers in the playoff game. I know he's got nobody.
That's what I'm saying. I know he's 6-5 in the playoffs. Not phenomenal. Still has no above 100 quarterback rating in the playoffs, so that's phenomenal. He's gonna win this game. Mark it down in your calendar. Do whatever you gotta do. Shop it up. Be like,
someone actually
check mark.
Someone actually had the balls to say that he played like shit in the NFC Championship game last year.
He didn't.
So here's my response to that. Number one, he had like a tear in his calf. I've strained a calf and it's impossible to run. He had a tear. Okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is, that'll forever be known as the meltdown in Green Bay. They picked the pass off and the guy went to the ground. He probably still had it. I know we differ on this. He probably still could have run another 15 yards and stayed in bounds. All right, he went right to the ground. Like the game was over. But actually, the play that killed them
was an onside kick.
No. Well, that too. Do you know? No,
just catch the ball, bro.
No, do you know what killed them though?
Lots of things.
No, they were down 1, and then they went for the 2-point conversion. Wilson got flushed out and had to throw across his body, and it went in like a rainbow, like a Lucky Charms, like rainbow arc.
It was magically delicious.
And Clinton Dix is standing there.
Could have made a play on the ball and didn't. I make a play on that ball. That was absurd. Okay.
So that gives Seattle a 3-point lead. And, of course, you know what happens next. But Clinton Dix bats at that. He actually had like 3 picks that game. He had a really good game. Except for that one play.
The ball was in the air for 14 seconds.
He was watching it. I couldn't believe it.
I want to do a Christopher Walken impression. Like, the ball was in the air for 14 seconds.
So Rodgers is limping around on one leg, and he actually leads him down the field to a field goal, tie the game, send it into overtime, which they lost in overtime. But still, Clinton Dix bats that down. That field goal puts them in the Super Bowl.
Green Bay's going to win this game. It's going to be close.
20-16.
I get 24-20. This is the thing.
4-point margin.
I think that Washington's going to be up 3 points. Rodgers is going to take it down the field and shove it down their throat. 24-20.
Because they're going to go into prevent, like every team does.
24-20.
And I don't know why they do, but they do.
So hard to play defense nowadays in the NFL. Really is. It's actually depressing. You know that? We're going to see in our lifetimes 1,000-yard passer. 100,000-yard passer for their career. You're going to see it.
Probably Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, seriously. Matt.
I can't even imagine how many yards Marino would throw for in like today's NFL.
A year?
He could have thrown for like 6,000 yards a year today's league. It's like Arena League football.
Well, I know we would have had at least like 70 touchdowns.
Well, he threw 48 back when you were allowed to like clothesline people. So
that's what I mean. So we'll convert that. I think realistically, you'd convert that probably to like 60.
No, you know what? There's only been 2 quarterbacks in the history of football, and that's going to be eclipsed 100 times over the way the game is trending now. Peyton and Brady, the only two guys to throw 50 touchdowns in a season. If Marino,
but Rodgers had what, 49 and sat out a game.
He had 46.
Was it 46 and sat out?
But he did sit out a game. He could have reached 50.
Did Breeze have 47 in 1 year?
Breeze had 46, I think.
I'm trying to remember.
Because Marino, I believe, is still third on that list. Or fourth. Because
he's third.
Because Manning threw 49 that year. Manning threw 49 in 04.
I'm trying to think. They might have. Rodgers definitely could have broke 50, though.
I think he ended up with 46 or 47, and I think he sat the last game because they were 15-1 that year.
They were. That's the thing is, I don't know how you go against that, man. You don't.
No,
unless it's going to be...
Make no mistake, though.
Another Pulp Fiction reference. Unless it's going to be when Jules gets shot at later and the bullets go through him and he goes, it's a miracle. That's the only way Washington's going to win this game. I mean, I have a family member, a cousin-in-law, who's a Washington Redskins fan. I mean, boo-hoo. Sorry to tell you, you're not going to win. You're not.
Hey, be happy you made it. You had a good year. Pulp Fiction, like, every time John Travolta went in the bathroom in that movie, so, like, the shit hit the fan. You ever notice that?
I think that was part of, like, the movie, though. Like, that was supposed to be that way kind of thing. Like, that's an incredible movie. How high do you have that on your all-time list?
Pulp Fiction? My top 30, top 20.
Yeah. Oh, he had 45 touchdowns that year.
45.
Yeah, and I think Breeze led the league that year with 46 because he eclipsed Rodgers in the final game because Rodgers didn't play. And that was the year I think Matt Flynn had 6 in the game. So Rodgers would have had 51 if you had added the 6 to him. You know what I mean? Obviously, you can't play it that way, but Rodgers could have easily destroyed that record.
That's one thing that irks me is, like, people are acting like Rodgers is, like, the next generation's Peyton, and no. Like, I can't really remember him playing out with, like, absolutely piss poor in a playoff game.
Number one, Rodgers is not piss poor in the playoffs. Number two, Rodgers is not a stat whore. And what I mean by that is Rodgers does not
tries to win the game.
Purposefully inflate his stats. When the Green Bay Packers are definitely winning the game, and I know people could be, Tom Brady stays in the game. No, Tom Brady stays in the game because he doesn't want to give it up. But you know what Tom Brady does? He throws for 179 yards if you don't make him throw. He actually follows the game plan. Whether he's a dumb shit or not for doing it, is regardless. There's been games where Tom Brady throws for 200 yards and they win. Okay.
Even look up the game.
Tom Brady will run the ball.
No, because my computer's out. Go to 3 years ago. The game that Kaepernick threw for 300 and rushed for 150 or whatever. Do you remember that game?
The playoff game.
The night that we were at KP's. You remember that?
Yeah, I could try to find that.
Because I know that Green Bay got blown out, but Rodgers actually played pretty well that game.
It was 2011.
No, it was 2012. It was the
2011 season.
No, it was the 2012 season.
No, it wasn't. It was 2011.
It was January 2013. It was 3 years ago. Trust me. Positive. That's the year that San Francisco went to the Super Bowl. It was the same day that of the Mile High Miracle when Flacco hit. Who the hell was that? Was it Jacoby Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, I was watching that in Salem. I couldn't believe it.
Come on.
I need a new laptop, by the way, because I got one laptop to record this and another one to look up stats, and the one that looks up stats lasts about 15 minutes, and then the battery dies.
One computer. Yeah, I mean, do you trust Kirk Cousins? He's been playing well.
I don't trust the Redskins. You know what I mean? I don't. It's the Washington Redskins. And I know Green Bay's defense is atrocious. They need to devote many draft picks.
I love that. It was 45-31 that game, by the way.
Okay, what were Rodgers' numbers that game?
I'm going to look it up. Actually, if I remember correctly, I haven't looked it up yet.
He put up 31 points.
Rodgers had a great game, so to speak, but Kaepernick was just again, that's why I thought Kaepernick was going to be a great quarterback. Jaws, you're not the only one. Kaepernick.
Tyler Levis didn't.
Kaepernick was incredible that game. He was a monster.
He rushed for 150. I want Rodgers' numbers.
Rodgers was 26 for 39.
Okay. So that's
66%,
basically.
Exactly 66%. 66.66. Repeating. 257 yards. 2 touchdowns and a pick. Not that bad. He rushed for 3 for 28. Okay. Kaepernick, 17 for 31, 263 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 16 rushing attempts for 181 yards and 2 TDs. So the guy, total offense,
close to
444 yards created by his passing or rushing. 441 yards by a player. One guy, not a team. I mean, I know that.
And the funny thing
quarterbacks is a little different.
The funny thing is, we were all watching that in the room, and I turned to Phil. I'm like, dude, your team's winning the whole thing. And I really thought that they were going to win it.
Well, the funny thing is, we had a San Francisco 49ers fan, Phil, that we worked with. We had another fan of Green Bay, Nick, that we worked with. I told them both at different times over the past years, like, oh, your team's going to win like the next 5 Super Bowls. But the NFL is so crazy. Like, first of all, San Fran won 0 Super Bowls, and Green Bay won that one. So, but you look at a team and you see that
was already 5 years ago.
That's nuts. But you see a team and it's so stacked in the NFL, and you go, oh my God, this team's going to build a dynasty. It just doesn't happen. Even the Seattle getting back to the Super Bowl was like incredible.
You know what I was thinking about the other day at work? And I know you were like, no, I don't know what you were thinking.
I do know what you were thinking, Scotty. You don't have to tell us. We already know this.
Let's say Seattle wins the Super Bowl this year, right? They should have won 3 in a row. They were one pass play from winning 3 straight.
Yeah, but if you do that, I mean, I could say Brady should have like 8 rings. Like if this, if that, if these two things went right, if this play, like whatever. If Seattle wins the Super Bowl, though, number one, Pete Carroll's got to be appreciated because he just does. Considering
does that get? He wins the second one.
Pete's in the Hall if he wins the second one.
No, that wasn't what I was going to say. Does he get off the hook for the?
Oh yeah. All right. I mean,
I'm not sure he does, but
are the Patriots off the hook for not winning for 11 years, 10 years, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, but neither of those losses were really pinned solely on just an awful.
I get that, but
one call by Belichick. The only game in that stretch,
it's perfection. The only game, it's the most painful thing you've ever experienced as a sports fan. Is 07 at least mostly erased because we won last year?
Not entirely.
Is 2011 erased?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't expect them to win that game.
Well, then that's... And
you were calling me a curmudgeon that whole week, like, this Giants team is not that good, Scott.
The Giants team sucked. This is what happened. Justin Tuck slammed Tom Brady. Tom Brady separated his non-throwing shoulder, and he turned into a pumpkin.
He was 20 or 23 for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Fitzpatrick's did, okay? He turned into a pumpkin. Ryan Fitzpatrick turns into a pumpkin every single year. Normally it's after, like, game 4 or 6. But Ryan Fitzpatrick always goes from, like...
He went to,
Tom Brady,
14 this year.
Yeah. Tom Brady to, like... Brandon Weeden with no concussion. Okay? He always goes from like the greatest quarterback you ever seen to like the worst. Okay? Yes, Brandon Weeden with a concussion plays better if you didn't know that. So if you want him on your team,
inside joke.
You want him on your team, you get him concussed and you watch him get better. But the thing is, you're gonna sit there and tell me that if he doesn't get injured in the middle of that game, they win that game. He had 16 straight completions.
If Gronk is healthy, they win that game.
Oh, if Gronk's healthy, they win every year. I mean, Gronk smash.
But does it completely erase 07? No, but I'll tell you what, the way they won, and especially because it was in the same building.
Oh, and because of that crazy catch before. Oh, dude, I was like crying inside, man. I almost like committed suicide.
The look on my face.
I was gonna get like a plastic little. Because I was at my cousin's house with a big group of people. I think she had like plasticware. I was about to get a plastic knife and try to commit harikari or something like that. I was like, seppuku.
The look on my face when Curse caught that was probably the same look you had when they drafted Garoppolo.
But still the biggest waste of a pick. I mean, I'd love to see Jarvis Landry in this team right now. That's just me.
You probably couldn't learn the damn playbook.
Number one, he could just be a punt returner and then you win the Denver game. Number 1 seed already. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
No.
So, other than that, I mean, I don't know if we have much else to talk about. We could go into the Peyton HGH thing again.
Why bother?
I'm just mad that he's not getting...
They're covering his ass.
And it's despicable.
And that's fine.
No, it's not fine.
No, take that back. It's not fine. It's predictable. It's expected. I didn't expect them to pursue this. I think it's embarrassing that they're not pursuing it.
It is embarrassing. That's my point. It's not okay.
But Deflategate was embarrassing.
But you're going to put 8 months of investigation into PSI, but a guy gets accused of HGH, there's actually a decent amount of evidence. There's no evidence that he took it. I mean, it's very hard to prove someone took something, but there's a decent amount of circumstantial evidence.
With the smoke, this
fire. Am I wrong or am I wrong?
With the smoke, this fire.
I'm right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a decent amount of circumstantial evidence.
And just to go on the record, so people don't think I'm just being like a Pat's honk right now. If Peyton, I said this last week on our other podcast. Even if Peyton did it, if it's proven, I don't care. I don't think it. I really.
But
don't.
I do care.
I don't care.
We did this as well. I hate the excuse of he used it just because he was injured. No, that's a dumb excuse. I don't care if you used it just because you're injured. Maybe you don't understand, guys. I've torn my calf twice. You know why it's not better? Because I didn't take HGH. If I took HGH, I'd be fine. It completely changes everything. Okay? You can't sit there and take something that makes your muscles grow. And the dude couldn't pick up a football. He has 4 neck surgeries. He can't even grip a football to throw it in the backyard. And then suddenly he's breaking passing records. Not saying he definitely took it, because there's no way to know. But if that's not going to at least be really suspicious when your wife's getting HGH sent all over the country, I mean, how much anti-aging is she trying to do here? Regardless, it's illegal for her to have that sent. Illegal. Mm-hmm. So, one guy's doing illegal things. He's like the Cardinals of football, because he's doing actual federal crimes. Like, I don't know why.
St. Louis Cardinals?
Yes.
Yeah, that didn't have any impact on them winning baseball games.
It didn't, but is that worse than PSI in a football?
Depends on how you look at it.
Because ESPN's like, hey, it's not that important. Put it under the rug.
Do you know what the difference is? Rob Manfred, after that, baseball commissioner, I know, like, he's still kind of new. So look, people are like, who the hell's
really
Rob
quick,
Manfred?
Want to get into that? We witnessed, as a generation, the 4 worst commissioners together at once.
The Mount Rushmore of commissioners.
We're going to go with, let's see, who's probably the best.
David Stern is probably the best out of all of them.
I was going to say the him of Selig's probably the best.
I would probably
out of the 4. But let's do that real quick. So you think Stern's better or Selig?
I thought they both.
Because Selig was like, take drugs and then reinvigorate the game. And for the record, that's why you got to let steroid guys in, because you used them to have your game and your sport be revitalized. That would be like if they pumped Magic and Larry full of fucking steroids and PEDs to have them bring basketball back, and after they bring it back, make them pariahs because they found out that they did it. You knew they were doing it the whole time. You liked it. You let it happen. You probably fucking hand-fed them the things, and then you're mad at the guys. You're not going to vote them in the hall. And that's absurd.
The BBWAA guys, you guys are the worst. You know why? Because you were standing...
You were cheering him.
No. You were standing, interviewing Mark McGuire at his locker in 1998, and you saw that friggin' bottle of Andro in there. And then someone brought it up, and I forget who it was who wrote the story about it.
Swept under the rug.
No, they killed the guy. They were like, how dare you say that? So
they patented him.
Pretty much.
It was like, how dare you be a credible media source like Al Jazeera.
But Roger Goodell's not only the worst commissioner...
Well, he's the worst. We're going to put that out there.
No, but he's the worst commissioner of anything ever, as Bill Simmons.
If you took all of Sonny Corleone's and all of Fredo Corleone's bad aspects, right? And then you added in some Napoleon Dynamite, and maybe if you added in...
Where are you going with this?
I'm trying to build Roger Goodell.
Do you want Roger Goodell? People. Rick Tamlin from Anchorman. That's Roger Goodell.
No, Roger's worse than that.
An IQ of 48.
No. Roger Goodell looks at salary and goes, well, you're smart.
I love Lamp. Integrity of the game.
Integrity of the game. Peyton, it's like PED use. What about Peyton Manning with HGH? No comment. But has he even said anything about that, by the way? I haven't heard him say anything.
No comment.
He's just ignoring it.
No comment.
It's like it doesn't exist.
I love how Roger Goodell says I'm always available for interviews, and like every time someone asks him for an interview, he's not
like,
available.
No. Yeah. But he's the worst.
He goes on Mike and Mike because he knows they're going to, softball pitch him questions.
Oh, they're going to massage his balls and give him friggin', you need a happy ending? There's an Asian over there. But, Asian guy, by the way. Scott Fujita. Is he even Asian?
Roger Goodell, you can find me if you want. You're a piece of shit.
Goodell's the worst.
Piece of shit.
The second worst I'd have to say is Bettman.
Well, that's just because they have a lockout every 5 years.
I think they're on strike right now. Yeah. Oh no, they're playing great. That is between Selig and Stern. I mean, I think
Stern.
Stern was a smart businessman. I'll give him that.
But he was probably fixing games.
Yeah. So if you're making your sport like the WWE, but it's helping your sport, is that a good or a bad thing? Let's be real.
I was absolutely...
Sacramento was screwed. Just like Phoenix. Phoenix got the benefit.
In 07.
No.
It was 07.
I'm talking about when
San
Charles
Antonio.
was playing. Barkley.
Oh, against Seattle?
92 or 3?
It was 93.
Yeah.
Game 7.
Yeah. It's like Charles Barkley.
64 foul shots.
Charles Barkley had like 40 of them. Charles Barkley fouled because someone breathed near him.
Yeah, but I have my orange and purple pom-poms going like, yeah, he's on.
You're like, it doesn't matter if this is fake. Woo!
My favorite player.
That LA game, that was the worst game. That was probably the worst officiating game I've ever seen.
When you said Phoenix, I thought you were talking about
the Phoenix San Antonio game series.
Amari Stoudemire was suspended for leaving the bench, and Tim Duncan left the bench, and he wasn't.
They should have won that series. They really should have. That was the chance for Steve Nash to win a ring.
Probably.
Amari Stoudemire was actually a very good player back then. Very underrated. If you actually look at how good he was. I mean, the thing is, people forget. People either tend to overestimate or aggrandize certain players or aspects of things like Derek Jeter for being very good for very long. Amari Stoudemire, if you're just going by how good he was as a player, at his peak was really good. He just sucked the rest of his career. He was like really good for a 2 to 3 year period, and then around that he was okay, and then he sucks. So it's
he was the 6'11" Tracy McGrady.
Fair enough. Touche. No, Tracy McGrady was better than him. But
Tracy McGrady, just so like the viewers know and the listeners know, Chris O'Keefe thinks Tracy McGrady was the GOAT for like 3 weeks in 2003.
No, 2002, 2003, Tracy McGrady had one of the peak wing seasons you've ever seen. Other than a guy named Michael Jordan or a guy named LeBron James, I'm not going to count Larry Bird as a wing, even though we can call him a wing. He's kind of different. He was kind of a power forward that they made a wing because they needed Kevin McHale to start. Let's be real here. And he could shoot threes. Yeah. It doesn't make him a wing necessarily. His style of game wasn't completely a wing.
Yeah, but even when Maxwell was starting, Maxwell was more of the power forward and Bird was playing a lot of small forward.
Yeah, but Bird was a very... Is Kelly Olynyk a small forward?
Kelly Olynyk is just... awful. He doesn't even have...
I told you, he's still infinitely better than I thought he would be.
He doesn't... That's not saying much.
I didn't say it was.
By the way, I don't blame David Lee for being pissed off that Brad Stevens giving them 3 DMPs in a row. Kelly Olynyk's awful.
He likes the floor spacing, man. He can shoot the 3 ball. Shoots 40% from 3. They use a 7-footer.
Give me 7 inches and I would beat Kelly Olynyk 1-on-1, and my knees are gone.
I think I'd beat Kelly Olynyk 1-on-1 right now, as long as it's...
he would just back you down.
Nah.
A hook shot over you.
He's only going to shoot 3s. You seen him?
He's not physical.
He's the softest Canadian I've ever seen.
If you gave him like a block in the back, he'd be like...
He plays... I know why he didn't play hockey, or if he did play hockey, I don't know what he did, because he's the softest Canadian I've ever seen.
Our show right now is Penny Annie. We probably have like 3 people listening to us. If I could have Kelly Olynyk on my show just for ratings, I still wouldn't do it. Like, get the hell out of my house.
I would. I'm not above that.
I'd bring him on like and make fun of him. And then he'd probably just say, like, I get paid like $1 million a year to play basketball, and you make shit. And he'd be like, yeah, you're right.
That's fair. Fair enough.
And getting back to the David Stern thing.
There are, really quick, the Green Bay-Washington game. I forgot to say that. There's 2 injuries that kind of matter. Matt Jones might miss the game.
Yeah,
for Washington, and Sam Shields might miss the game for Green Bay. I mean, the only other injuries that really matter, not that every injury matters, I get that, but the Dalton one, obviously, but everyone knew about that, and the Williams one we talked about.
Right.
And the Pitt-Cincy game. Other than that, the other 2 games,
injury-free.
And relatively, other than guys that have been IR'd, like a Jordy Nelson or something like that, everyone else is relatively healthy, and all the players that are questionable and doubtful are out, are not necessarily the biggest impact players.
I'm not picking against Aaron Rodgers Sunday. However, I am picking against them the week after that because they have no chance to go into Arizona and beat them.
No, Arizona's too well-rounded. They're a good team.
Lastly, on David Stern, I suck at math. It's been 12 years, and I'm still stunned that he allowed the 2004 Pistons to beat that LA team.
So, how good is the new commish?
Adam Silver?
Uh-huh. Is he not infinitely better than all the other commissions we had?
For basketball?
I'm talking about the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Right now, I mean...
Goodell, Stern, Selig, and Bettman.
Goodell's permanently last no matter who.
Well, you know what's funny, though? 4 years ago, we would have said Goodell was the best out of that bunch.
I wouldn't have.
4 or 5 years ago, we liked him.
I never liked him.
He was actually considered a pretty decent commissioner.
I never liked him.
Then he started to be a weirdo.
He's not drunk with power. He's overdosing on power at this point.
So, Adam Silver.
I mean, I think he's done a lot of good things. I know one thing he's tried to emphasize is grading the officials to make sure the best officials do the biggest games, which should have been done a while ago. He actually wants to eliminate the amount of timeouts, which I think would be great for TV.
Don't you think he is the best commissioner right now?
I would say so, yeah.
Was he the best? He was obviously better than the other 4 we mentioned.
Manfred's.
Well, I wasn't including him. I was including the 4.
Yeah, it's his first. It's his first year. You got.
I don't even know but Silva seemed to handle everything great, especially with the
Donald Sterling thing.
Donald Sterling thing. Yeah.
One thing.
It was a big test for him.
Manfred actually said on the weekends he'd actually like to see World Series games played in the day because he thinks it's hurt the game. The kids can't stay up late to watch the games. I think that's a really good point. Like I'm a baseball junkie, so you could play the game at 3 in the morning. I'll probably just take a nap.
Right, and the thing with me and Scotty is I love baseball. It's a sport, so I naturally love it. I've always watched baseball. I played baseball. I'm a hell of a wiffle ball player. Okay? This is the thing. Baseball needs to fix their game. I think they're going to do steps to do that. I know you're not a big fan of the amount of seconds that a guy has to get in the box, the amount of timeouts someone can call, the amount of seconds a guy can pitch.
I will say
those all need to be enforced.
The challenges and the replays, I think, for the most part, has been a monumental success.
I think it's a great thing
because you get the call right, and it doesn't take more than a minute.
On that note, football coaches should be able to challenge whatever they want to challenge. You only get 2 of them. What does it matter if I challenge a penalty of this or the other thing?
One thing I think baseball has to fix is that the catcher has to give the base runner a lane to home plate to avoid. And I know why they do it, because to avoid the concussion thing and home plate collisions. It was like that for 160 years. Come on.
Yeah, I have a big issue. Concussions are terrible.
If you don't want to get a concussion, don't plow the catcher.
Don't play sports.
No, don't plow the catcher.
Don't play. Little kids get concussions. We get concussions. You know what they've proven? Not even concussions, but every little mini hit you take is like a mini concussion. So you just go outside and back someone down playing basketball and hit heads. You kind of have like a mini concussion. That happens all the time. It's part of life. I mean, men go around and we drink beer and we punch each other in the face and we go do manly friggin' primate things. Homo sapien does. And you know what? We'll lose a bunch of brain cells and we get mini concussions and concussions all the time. It's not a big deal. You ever been punched and knocked out? People have. Guess what? That's a concussion, bro. So people are going to have concussions. People have had concussions for hundreds of years, thousands of years. People don't generally die of concussions. Okay, CTE, doing it all the time as an NFL player, repeatedly, I get it. But you know what? They're living the They sit there and tell us that they're gladiators. They want to preach to me about how they're... What was the term that, what's his name, Junior used? He said he's a motherfucking warrior? Is that what he said?
Kellen Winslow?
Yeah.
Oh, soldier.
He was a motherfucking soldier.
I'm a soldier.
I'm a whatever it is. I'm a soldier. If you don't understand, I'm going to war. No. And if you want to feel like that, and you want to tell me you're a modern-day gladiator, then you get in there, and when you get a concussion, maybe don't come back in that game. Don't sit there and bitch about it later.
I guarantee you that...
You were the one that was trying to be the gladiator.
If you took a survey of NFL players, I guarantee you they'd rather save their knees than their heads.
Oh, guaranteed. And on top of that, if you said, hey, would you rather quit playing football and not have any concussions, or play the game that you love, be a king among men, be a modern-day gladiator that's praised and adored, and have concussions and die of CTE, what would they pick? They'd pick the latter. Other than Chris Borland, the rest of them are picking the latter.
It's as simple as this.
Everyone playing a professional sport knows the risks.
It's as simple as this.
Sean Livingston knows the risks. You saw his leg? He knows the risks.
Do you know what this would be like? And I've used this analogy, not on here, but I've used this analogy before. That would be like...
Have you seen Concussion yet?
I haven't, no.
Me either. I heard it's good. I've heard a lot about it, so...
This would be like what the NFL players are doing with the concussion things right now, the former, like Jim McMahon and those guys. That would be like 10 years from now, I get cancer, and I try to sue Marlboro. Even though there's a warning right on there.
A little different, though. That would be like, because now...
Why? They're both choices.
But those older guys were kind of in a generation where they were lied to and stuff. But I mean, anybody for like the last 10 years and beyond, like, you know. Like when I played high school football, you got your bell rung, you kept playing. That was what, 2009, late 90s, 2000s?
When I played and I got concussions, this was the concussion protocol back in like 2001. Scotty, how many fingers am I holding up? 3. Okay, you're good.
How do you feel? Yeah, are you able to go back in the game? You're all right?
And I would just say, yep,
still
I'm
dizzy?
good.
Yep, I'm good. Okay, you run back in. Yeah. So that was a little different than now. But if you're playing now, first of all, I think if you have a concussion, you should be allowed to go back in if you want to. Personal opinion. Just like I believe Wes Welker should still be able to play. I know a bunch of people in our little chain of people that we communicate with sports, don't think you should be able to let the guy get his brain scrambled. That's his own choice. I can't take away.
It's a conscious choice.
It's a conscious choice, and that's what he loves. All right? I would probably, if you told me I could play in the NFL, but I'd lose my leg after 2 years of playing, I'd probably do it anyways. Now, after when I had no leg, I'd be like, oh, that sucks. Yeah, but you know what? I would do it. And a lot of people would do it. It's aggravating. It got me so aggravated.
So, yeah, I like all 4 road games. All 4 road
That's
teams.
never happened, by the way. We looked it up earlier.
It's going to happen.
60% of the time, the home team wins.
Watch all 4 home teams win.
The 3-6 and the 4-5 is not really that much of a discrepancy, though.
No, it's pretty even.
Pretty even. 60% of the time the home team wins, which actually home field advantage in football is 57 to 58% around, roughly, depending on what years you're looking at as an overall sport. So kind of makes sense.
Honestly, the only sport of the 4 major sports where home field / court is essential is basketball.
Yeah, even that seems to be dying down, though, I feel.
Well, they're not fixing games anymore.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's less. The last time I can really remember it mattering was 2007, 2010.
And for people who think, I don't need to be reminded. For people who think I'm just being, like I'm overreacting to David Stern was fixing games, do yourself a favor. It's on YouTube. Go watch the 2002 Western Conference Finals Game 6.
Oh, I've watched it.
Watch that game. I watched it live.
I remember watching it live. Was that a Saturday, by the way?
I can't remember. Tell me that game
it was a Saturday night.
Tell me that game wasn't fixed. Watch it and tell me it wasn't.
Oh, I was watching that game as like a teenager, I think.
I was 16. I was 16.
Must have been 20.
No, so you were. I was 16 and a half, basically.
I was like, this game's fixed. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? This isn't basketball. They handed them that game.
Oh, if it was New Jersey and Sacramento, that would have been a freaking nightmare as far as like the TV money.
I thought the Sacramento team deserved a championship.
I thought they were the best team that year.
Other than that, I think we're all done.
I think that's a wrap. So we'll be back hopefully next week for division playoff coverages.
We'll be back to talk about the Patriots, maybe a little bit more Belichick, a little bit more Tom Brady, and till next time.
I think we're looking at, for the record, I think we're looking at Pats KC. I think we're looking at Pittsburgh Denver in the AFC, NFC. I think we're going to see Seattle going to Carolina, which I can tell you, even though they won't admit it, Carolina doesn't want that. Why would you? And I'm not going against Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going against that bad man this week, but the week after in Arizona, I don't see it. I don't see them doing it.
Tis what it is. Check y'all later.
All right. Peace.